For 6 years, the Grey Army has been one of the most unpredictable, rewarding, and challenging groups of amphibians I've ever cared for. In today's episode, we return to the 100-gallon Grey Army vivarium to give you a long-awaited update on their lives and share what I've learned after years of working with one of the most misunderstood native frogs to the eastern United States. We begin with the reason why I made a major change to the diet plan of these eastern gray tree frogs, switching away from crickets entirely. You can see there's a slight issue with Melania's eyes. I wish that I knew this years ago, but feeding them crickets, even though they have a varied diet, the crickets are gut-loaded, at times they were dusted, and they were given all kinds of supplements and vitamins, so that way the crickets were nutritious enough for the frogs. That still didn't change anything. As you could see, there were issues that developed in the eyes of Melania from eating those crickets because they had a lot more fat content than what other insects do. With this adding up over the years, even with the dubia roaches and other creatures that they were eating like silkworms and others, it wasn't enough to stop the inevitable situation that led to Melania's eyes getting super cloudy. There were also other issues that this frog has had to overcome, and that might be for another episode. I just wanted to showcase that we still love Melania. She's still a voracious predator, and thankfully I trained her to take her prey items by hand, so even though she has a tough time during the day seeing the insects, I make sure that she still eats a varied diet and she gets her fill, putting it right in front of her and allowing Melania to do the rest. Through 2025, the security camera has recorded brief but powerful snapshots of the Grey Army's secret lives, moments that I would have never witnessed otherwise. Listen to some of the audio recording we captured of the gray tree frogs calling when nobody's around. The addition of the security camera changed everything about how I monitor the Grey Army. In the 6 years of keeping eastern gray tree frogs, nothing has given me more insight into their true behavior than the simple device quietly watching from the corner of the vivarium. With the camera, I can finally track long-term activity patterns. I can see who emerges first after the lights go out, how long each frog spends hunting, and which areas of the enclosure they claim. It also reveals the subtle, territorial body language that sometimes isn't obvious during the daytime. The recordings have been vital for health monitoring as well. I can confirm whether every frog is eating regularly, whether they're climbing normally, and whether anyone is becoming reclusive. One of the earliest signs of stress or illness in tree frogs is being lethargic. The camera can help to see that the frogs are actually moving around, even in cooler conditions whenever the winter time comes in Pennsylvania, and usually the gray tree frogs slow down a little bit. The camera has also captured calling behavior, as you heard just a little bit ago, and I have even more recordings of audio between Dexter and Esperanza. After 18 months of keeping Dexter inside this Grey Army vivarium, I can say that he's a lot more bold and confident, even being out during the day. It's no surprise either that he quickly learned how to hand feed just like the other gray tree frogs after watching them do it. He's been so much fun to enjoy watching hunt insects and also being so vocal inside the enclosure. I've never had an eastern gray tree frog as vocal as him, and I look forward to this winter recording more audio of this little tree frog calling and enjoying himself inside this ecosystem. Dexter just seems to always be living his best life in front of the camera. Making his introduction to Season 6 of Wild Vivariums is the star himself, the leader of the Grey Army, the eastern gray tree frog named after hope in Spanish, Esperanza. He was on the cover of multiple newspaper articles in 2023 during Frog Week, a frog who has not only changed the identity of the Grey Army storyline, but he's also become the heart of the woods and forests media community. Because I took away crickets from the eastern gray tree frogs, they don't get the chance to hunt as much as they did whenever they were facing off against the banded crickets. It was great stimulation and environmental enrichment. Ever since then, I've been searching for different prey items to allow the gray tree frogs to enjoy hunting. This would also make sure that they maintained a healthy weight and didn't become bored or lazy. Well, I finally found grasshoppers, and thanks to Dean Missimer, I'm going to get the chance to start showcasing the hunt between the eastern gray tree frogs and these different grasshoppers. Esperanza shows us what might be taking place in the wild when an eastern gray tree frog learns that there's a grasshopper in the foliage above him. I can't wait to showcase more of these gray tree frog versus grasshopper battles, but here is the start of it all. After Esperanza caught that grasshopper, Dexter wasn't going to be upstaged, so then he made the leap of faith and also caught a grasshopper. However, this was his second. I can't feed too many grasshoppers to the gray tree frogs because they're still small frogs, and eating too many would be very bad for them. Plus, I'm sure those legs are not fun to try to gulp down, especially if they're eating multiple grasshoppers. But that's going to do it for this episode. I can't wait to share more about the lives of the Grey Army in front of you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share for more Wild Vivariums content. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.